Hey guys, welcome back. It's excuse me, it's April 27th, and last night, or I should say last night into this morning, was my last overnight shift. I've been on the overnight shift for just under 10 years, and I have had enough. It's time for me to be able to get a little bit more than 1 to 5 hours of sleep a day, and tomorrow I start day shift, so still the same job, but just a different time. So as you can see, I started on getting the siding up on one side of the shed, and I learned a couple things. First of all, it's not easy to do by yourself. It's really not easy. I'll show you what I did at the bottom here. I used these blocks, just scrap pieces of 2x4, to kind of create my line along the way, so that all the siding was supposed to be level, but I've got probably about an inch difference from this side to this side. I don't think you guys can see it in the video probably, but you can see the top plate to the wall is sticking above the sheeting there, and it's flush on the other end. And I'll tell you, I fought with the first panel for at least an hour trying to get it all lined up properly and get everything working like it was supposed to, and it just would not cooperate. So I did the best I could. I mounted it where it is, and it is what it is. The advantage is it's on the back side of the shed, so it's not going to be seen really, and I'm just going to have to try again on the next side. But it definitely would have been a lot easier to put these panels on with the walls laying down, which is what would have been the smart thing to do, but I don't think I would have been able to put these walls up by myself. So I would have had to get some help, and for me, help is kind of tough to come by. So Nala, come here. Sorry, my dog is wandering a little bit. Nala, come on. But today the goal is to get this back wall done, and hopefully the other 12-foot wall, and probably the 2 panels on the front, and I'll leave the 2 panels for the doorway because all there is to it is just this section here. It's probably about, what, a foot maybe, and then over the top of the arch and back down. But another thing I learned, or that I messed up on with these 12-foot walls, was when I laid them out and studded them up, I didn't take into account the fact that I cut 3.5 inches off either end, this end here and that end over there, to fit in between the 2 16-foot walls, which put my studs about 4 inches off. So where I put these double posts where the panels come together, yeah, they were 4 inches too far this way because everything was shifted this way, because I started measuring from the end of the cut plate and not the end of the actual shed. So I should have started measuring here, and then this stud would have been where it is, but the following stud would have actually been here, 24 inches from the end of the wall, which would have put these studs here. This stud would have been here, and so forth. So what I ended up doing is I just scabbed in a couple extra studs, and I'll have to do the same thing on this wall. Otherwise I would have had to tear the whole wall down, tear it all apart, and put it all back together. So, you know, it cost a little bit of money on the 2x4s, but it is what it is. You know, can't get it perfect your first time. As as the old saying goes, measure twice, cut once, and I measured about 18 times and it still got messed up, but we were able to fix it. It's just a shed. It's not the end of the world. So this last panel here, I still got to finish nailing up, but everything's turning out pretty good. And I'll have to trim this edge here because this is the overlap. I guess I'll call it the overlap tab. So I'll have to trim that. But we're getting close. So we'll start working on that back wall, that 16-foot wall on the back side, and then the 12-foot. And that should be it for today. So my goal is to get this all done and sided before I leave on my trip in a couple weeks, and hopefully I can get some of the trusses built and start putting the trusses up. I don't think I'm going to order them because the prices I've checked are between $600 and $900 for trusses, and I just can't afford that. So it's going to take a lot more time to build my own trusses, but it'll probably be far less expensive. So let me get some tools set up, and I'm sorry if I ramble or misspoke or misspeak some of my words, but I've been up all night and I only had 4 hours of sleep yesterday, so I'm gonna do the best I can. All right. Okay, guys, we've got the first panel tacked in place, and just by the looks of it, everything seems to be looking pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and drive some nails in and keep moving on. But before you guys get too critical, I just want to emphasize that there will be corner trim going on this, and then I'm also going to cover the gap up there between the trusses and the regular wall panel with a piece of trim, so that'll hide any discrepancies up top, you know, with gaps and stuff. So don't criticize too much, because there's going to be some trim work done and everything will look good. So hopefully, anyways, that's the plan. Try to set you guys down carefully here. Let me go grab some more nails and we'll start hammering away. I think you guys get the gist of it. I'm going to use the ladder, which is what the camera's sitting on, for the top section, and then we got to measure out where the stud is in the middle. Other than that, it's pretty self-explanatory. Once you get everything kind of level and ready to go, you start nailing away. Alright, 3 of 4 panels. The other 2 are up. They're all nailed in. So this one just got to finish nailing in. You know what I need? A tool belt. Because I'm getting really tired of going back and forth to grab nails out of the box. But it is what it is. There we go. Okay, we got 2 walls done. Now we just got to work on the 3rd. Want to tack it in place because I want to check the top, since the other wall was so, you know, the other 12-foot wall was kind of goofed up. know, they say a guy will wise up after 2 or 3 walls. So what I did, went and got some shims. Boy, did that sure help. Sure wish I would have done that with the other side, but oh well. It'll be fine, as they say on Vice Grip Garage. Shout out to Derek. If you haven't checked out his channel, be sure to do so. Vice Grip Garage is awesome. But I'm going to finish nailing up this third panel, and then we'll start on the front wall, and that'll be it. So, whew. All right, guys. Well, we've got all the siding on all the way around except for around the door opening. And what I'm going to do for the door opening is I'm going to mount one side just temporarily. I'll tack it in place with a couple screws, and then I'll mark the opening on the back side of it. And when I take it back down, what I'll do is towards the top, I'm going to actually move the line, the marking, up an inch, so that I have some overlap on the top of the door where it closes against the header. It'll make sense once I start doing it, but that's the plan anyways. And everything went pretty darn well as far as these last 3 walls here. So hopefully the door opening goes just as smooth, but you never know. Like I said, this is my first time, so I'll do the best I can. So that's where it needs to be as far as level. So this upper line, if you guys can see that, this upper line I'm actually going to move up about an inch. So that way there's some overlap against this header when the door closes. So there'll be about an inch top and bottom overlap. That should work. just got to finish the cut with the Sawzall. Hey guys, sorry it's a couple days later, but as you can see, we got all the siding up on the shed, and I went to pick up some more lumber again, and I've got kind of just an idea of the pitch and the shape that I want on this shed for the trusses. So I'm probably going to go with like a 6/12 pitch roughly, but this is just kind of what I got set in here. It's not obviously at all even started, but I'm going to have to do some more learning on building trusses. I know how to cut the top angles, but it's the bottom angle that I'm having trouble with. I'm trying to remember my geometry from high school and college, and I know with a right triangle, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, so if we know that this angle is such, this angle should be a 90-degree angle, and then if you add these three together, I believe it's 180 degrees. So my plan is to cut the top angles with the combination square, because that I can use to make those cuts because it has a series of numbers on it, and that should be able to give me the angle at that point, which will allow me to figure out the degree angle on the bottom chord, or the span, I should say. So the siding's up, we're done with that. Now we get to move on to the trusses. So once again, thanks guys for watching. Sorry I had to take a couple days just to make the ending of the video, but things got crazy. Today's my first day on day shift, so it was good. I actually feel rejuvenated and not tired when I get off work, like completely exhausted, but we'll see. It was only day one and we didn't really have a whole lot going on, so things can change when you have that adrenaline rush, and at the end you get the adrenaline dump, so that can really be an exhausting deal. But anyways, thanks for watching guys. Thanks for building with me, and if you've got any input on building trusses, please let me know. You can always comment below and let me know what you think. Alright, talk to you guys later.